Hi everyone, Sabrina here from Scrappy Tales Crafts, and today I'm going to show you a card that I created with this Trinity Stamps Sweet Surprise stamp set. Along with this stamp set, I'm going to use the scallop stitched rectangle and banner dies. These are a part of their Slimline series. And then I'm also going to use Sweet Senti Mini along with its coordinating die here. And I think that's everything I used for today's card. I have used this Cupcake stamp set in 2 other videos, and I thought that they would be really cute lined up on a Slimline card, so I stamped out each cupcake 5 times with VersaFine Onyx Black ink. I did clear heat emboss them so I can color them in with my Copics. And you can see I also added the sprinkles to the frostings of each of my cupcakes. For the wrappers, I wanted them to look like the tinfoil handmade cupcake wrappers, so I am coloring them all in grays. And I wanted the frosting on my cupcakes to be very bright, so I'm going to show you how I colored in this orange one. I chose some pastel rainbow type colors, and I actually wasn't sure what color scheme I wanted to do. Just because I've made a lot of rainbow cards recently, I wanted something a little bit different, so I actually typed into Pinterest cupcake color palettes, and you'd be surprised how many results came up for that. And I saw a really pretty girly pastel rainbow color scheme that is what I'll be using for my cupcakes today. So this is kind of like a cantaloupe orangey color, which I really like. I've never used these markers before, so I'm really happy with how this cupcake turned out. It's probably my favorite out of the 5 that I colored. And 2 of my cupcakes will be vanilla. So this one will be vanilla. I use E13 right underneath the frosting. That would naturally cast a shadow. And then I'll go over it with E11. And then I'll leave a little bit of white space towards the bottom of that cupcake. And I will add E00. And then you can see I went over it with the Y11 marker just to make it more yellow and help it look more like it's a vanilla cupcake. And then I'm going to color in my yellow frosting. Now, I wasn't happy with how this turned out. I felt like my markers they didn't contrast enough. They really looked similar. I think I used Y06, Y04, and Y02, and all 3 markers look pretty much the exact same. And that happens a lot with yellows. I'm not the only one that struggles with this particular color. A lot of the times people will use an orange as their darkest color when they're trying to color something yellow, but I really wanted a bright neon yellow, or like a pastel neon yellow, and it just wasn't working with these 3 markers. So I did pull in Y35 just around the edges you saw, and now I'm going over it with Y13 to help it blend into those brighter yellows. And then I'll take my lightest yellow, which was Y02, and blend that Y13 out. And you can see my center highlight on the frosting, and then the shadow areas are on the left and right. I felt like there wasn't enough contrast on my orange cupcake either, so I'm taking a YR04 and just going around the edges, blending that out with the YR12, I think. And then I just left the center as is. I like the color on that. So for my 3rd cupcake, I wanted it to be a really bright pink. So I'm starting with RV29. My mid-tone is RV25. You can see when I color with my Copics, I start with my darkest marker. I map out my shadows, which in the case of these cupcakes are on the edges. And then I go over the darkest marker with my mid-tone, and then I leave quite a bit of white space for my center highlight. And I'm using that lightest marker to blend all 3 colors together. And I'm going to color in the candles with the same colors I used to color in the frosting. So I'm doing a pink, orange, and yellow candle here. At first I thought I only wanted to use 3 cupcakes on my card, but later on I did decide to add 2 more. I just felt like it filled the card up more. So off camera I did stamp and color 2 more cupcakes. Sorry, that was my Etsy ka-ching, yay. But what was I saying? Oh yeah, I stamped and colored a purple and a mint cupcake. You can see now I'm layering up this sweet word die. I cut it 3 times from heavyweight white cardstock and then once from blue cardstock, and I'm just layering them all together with my art glitter glue to create a dimensional word. I've been doing this a lot with my word dies. I really like the look of it. And it really helps to make that word die stand out on your card. So I'll just add that last S. And here I'm just showing you how much dimension that adds to the sentiment or to the word die. Now I'm going to work on the rest of my sentiment. You can see I die cut a stitched banner from some black cardstock. This banner came from the scallop stitch rectangle slimline dies. Included in that set are a bunch of different stitch banners. Right now I'm going to white heat emboss Have A on the left side of the sweet word die and then birthday on the right side so that the sentiment reads Have a Sweet Birthday. I am adding white embossing powder over that banner. I just love the look of white heat embossing on black cardstock. It's just very striking. Alright, so I die cut a scallop stitch rectangle from some white cardstock, and now I'm arranging my cupcakes. I wanted that bright pink one in the center because pink is my favorite color. And then I gave each of my cupcakes a candle, and I didn't match the candles' colors to the colors on the frosting. I kind of just randomly placed them. Some of the candles I'm slanting to the left, some to the right, and then others are just straight. So I'm attaching all of those with my art glitter glue. And then I like how the sentiment looks, so I'm going to glue down the sweet word die in the center of that banner. And then I'm going to glue down my cupcakes. I'm going to start from the right. And then I'm going to start gluing from the left, just so that my middle cupcake is right in the center. You can see that I'm overlapping the cupcakes. I think that adds a little character to the card. And then I decided to pop up my middle cupcake, so I'm adding some foam tape behind it. This foam tape is from Uline. It's super sticky, but it's really cheap. So I would still recommend it. I like it, but once it's adhered down, you really can't pull it up. And I wouldn't recommend it for shaker cards, but for general, large popping up of items, I think it's a nice foam tape to have in your stash. I also popped up the sentiment so that it was even with the cupcake. And then I'm taking my Wink of Stella brush and I'm just adding glitter to the frosting, the cupcake cake part, and then the sweet word die. And this Wink of Stella is actually just an old Wink of Stella brush that I refilled with water and I added gold perfect pearls to it. And it looks very similar to the original Wink of Stella pen. I am now flipping this scallop panel over and I'm going to glue it onto a black mat that will cover my entire Slimline card base. And I cut my card bases to 7.5 by 9 inches, and then I score it at 3 3/4. So I'm going to glue down that mat, and then I will glue my cupcake panel right on top, and that's going to complete my card today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you haven't yet already, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. I am so close to 3,000 subscribers, and if you're watching this video on the Trinity channel and you want to see some more videos by me, I will have a link listed down in the description box. Thanks again so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!